What is going on, everybody? Sunday morning, early, big mess. Doing a bunch of reorganization. I bought another 3D printer, so I had to redo some stuff. Completely redoing the garage, the laser shop in the garage. A lot of work, but it's going to be worth it. Just making things more efficient, being able to accomplish more around here, which is really good. Today, I want to talk about reality. I don't know why guitar players, and it's probably more just a human trait than anything, but for some reason, guitar players, we'll just keep it to guitar players because that's what we do here, are not, they have a hard time with reality. Things that are real, things that are pretty easy, the fact that, a Gibson Les Paul costs more to produce than a Glary. Ohm's law, for example, E over IR. And I know a lot of people don't understand it because they haven't spent a lot of time with it. I get that. But in reality, it's pretty simple physics. The simple physics of a guitar, an electric guitar, it's not rocket science. You know what I mean? Most people without tons of education and everything can pretty much understand how an electric guitar works. I'm not saying that to be condescending. I'm saying it to say it is very accessible. Like anybody, like lots of us, no matter where we come from, no matter our background, it's very simple. Guitars are actually pretty simple. But for some reason, people will spend a lot of time focusing on the thing that's not real and believing the thing that's not real instead of just looking at the reality of the guitar. It's not that hard, actually. I don't know, like moon landing, whatever it is. There's a lot of things that people have a hard time with reality. And they want to live in the myth. They want to live in the argument of trying to prove their point when in fact the reality of the situation is probably much simpler. I got a message yesterday asking me a question about what he should put in his guitar. And I thought to myself, I didn't say it to him because I didn't want him to feel, I don't want to make anybody feel bad ever, but I was like, man, that's way overcomplicated. You're overthinking it. It's way simpler than that. And so I gave him a very concise and simple answer, and he was happy with that. And he took that because it was a pretty real answer. There was pretty simple stuff, and it made sense to him. And he went about his life. I don't even know if he bought anything from me, but it didn't matter. He just needed a simple answer. He thought he needed a complicated answer, but the reality is it's pretty simple. As a result of that, okay. But you have to compile all this knowledge and put it all together and then put it in a way that makes sense, right? As a result of that, for example, I get comments all the time. Excuse me. Let's say I make videos and I'm on the internet because of ego, that I know more than everybody else and I'm trying to prove everybody wrong and I'm never wrong and all that kind of stuff. That I show off fancy guitars on the internet just to show off all this kind of stuff. That's called projecting. If you want to look at, it means you do that. It doesn't mean I do that. Just by the way, you can look that up. That's a tongue-in-cheek joke for those of you that don't know what jokes are. But really, that's really, 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 honestly, super surprising and curious to me. Because it couldn't be further from how I see guitars. I don't learn things to win arguments. I don't buy guitars to impress people. Honestly, I feel the instinct to share. Whether that is an object like a nice watch, a nice guitar, a driving experience. Hey, I have this fast car. You want to come for a ride? This is super fun. It's to share. And if I am in a position to have something that you don't have, I want you to have it too. I want you to experience it too. If you've never played a custom shop Gibson and you stop by my house, I'll pull it out and I'll let you play it if you want to play it. I want you to experience it. That's the motivation. I want you to experience it. Because one of the things I think is that this stuff is so simple and people don't realize it's that simple. Yes, some of it can be expensive, but the reality is that it's pretty easy. So there's nothing, and I think for most of us, I would say for most of us in this hobby, now there's going to be the dork in the comment section today in this video who's going to prove this point for me, right? And prove this point. It's just going to happen. But let's face it, none of us really like the show-off guy. I don't either. I think it's stupid. Who thinks he's smarter than everybody. You're like, oh, I don't want to hang out with that guy. But sharing knowledge is really cool. And to be honest with you, what's really interesting about it is most of the truths about guitar are very simple and are very accessible. You have the same internet that I have. So what we do here is compile information and share it with you. We compile readily available information and we share it with you. And where I think people have a hard time is the fact that there's two things. People don't like to learn, I don't think. Now, there are people that like to learn, and then there's the group of people in the comment section who don't like to learn, right? So we can separate ourselves from that very easily and take this in a positive way. Like, I want to learn something, then I want to share it with you. That's my whole goal in life. So the problem is that a lot of people claim they want information, but what they really want, they claim they want facts. They want to learn stuff, which is why you Google things. That's why you search something on YouTube. Until the information disagrees with something that you already believe, which happens a lot in guitar. And what's weird is the reality is typically simpler than the thing you believe. It's a weird thing. We have this intention or this tendency to inject complication into a belief system where the thing that's real is actually very simple. And then this is why it sounds condescending to teach someone something, because you're like, dude, you're making it way too complicated. It's not that we want to be condescending to one another. It's the fact that this is pretty simple. It's super simple. This law around this Stratocaster stuff is very simple. Once you understand it, it's super complicated to find the information, but the principles at play are very simple. The physics of how a string moves is pretty simple, actually. How an electric guitar pickup works is very simple. The reason you would need a 250 versus a 500K pot makes a lot of sense. It's just math. The way intonation works is not some kind of voodoo. It's literally math of the length of the string. You can literally figure it out on a calculator and get really close. I mean, it's like super easy stuff. But compiling that information takes time, and it takes, it takes investment. And people don't want that, so it's just easier for them to believe whatever they want to believe. The tone wood thing is far more nuanced. And I'm not going to say yes or no or believe or don't believe, but the entire thing and how it affects a guitar is far more nuanced than just it is or isn't, right? The effect that a finish has on an electric guitar, nitrocellulose versus polyurethane, the science is very simple with that. Super simple. Like all those things. Nut material. What's another one everybody argues about all the time? Oh, this whole capacitor flip over thing. I keep coming back to that, but it's super simple. Yes, you touch it and it makes noise. No, it doesn't matter in an electric guitar. You know why? Because you don't have your finger in your guitar. That's why. Super simple. Yes, it applies in other things that aren't electric guitar. Super simple, right? It's easy. But it's easier for a lot of people to believe the more complicated thing. I saw some stuff about shielding last week, and I'm like, oh my God, that is the most complicated thing. Faraday cages don't work in electric guitars. Okay, science is pretty easy on that. It's pretty clear because of the wave of a 60 cycle or a 50 cycle if you live in another country. See there, did some metric for you. The length of the wave and the size of physical size of a guitar, like there's in the holes in it's pretty easy. Like once you understand the science of that, eddy currents on the bottom of a pickup, all those things are. It's not believing myths around this stuff is more complicated than the actual reality. But we don't like reality because then this means that we have to change how we believe. Because we get back to the thing, and there are a group of people, I'm not saying it's everybody, I'm just saying there's a group of people who only want confirmation, okay? And there's a huge difference. If knowledge, the desire for knowledge says that I wonder if I'm right, I want to click on this video and learn something. I want to see if what he says, whether it's me or anybody else, I need to know I need to know if I'm right or not. Okay. Confirmation says, I'm going to watch this video and see if he says something that's different than what I'm saying. I need to be right. Those are two different things. And I never need to be right. Now, I will make sure that I'm as accurate as possible because of these people. We want to make sure that we're accurate as possible. And, if you slip up on the stupidest thing, then people will attack you in the comments. So it makes it very difficult. You got to make sure that you try to be as accurate as possible. And so that comes off sometimes to some people, like mostly these people. It comes off to these people as you don't want to ever be wrong. Well, I'd rather not spread misinformation is really the principle there. I would rather not spread misinformation. So I'm going to do my best to be accurate. If that challenges your belief system, that's not on me. Okay. And I think we should all kind of operate in that. We should say, all right, I'm willing to have my belief system challenged, but I want to try to find the most accurate information to do that. This is a huge thing because what happens is when you are just searching for confirmation about what you already believe, you're trying to just defend your little corner. But when you're really looking for knowledge, you're expanding your world. Here's the weird thing about it is if you have an idea and it's challenged, okay, and then that idea proves to be right, or even if it doesn't, if it proves to make you want to explore, now you have two things. Before you just had one thing, and now you have two. Your world is therefore expanded. You have more, which is pretty neat, and it was free. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome, actually. That's a pretty neat thing. And our brains can handle it. Our brains can handle it if we let it. But there's a group of these people, I'm saying a group, that believes that learning is like dangerous, right? And you're going to that's dumb. That makes no sense. Well, it does because those belief systems that they have held for so long, tone wood or finishes on guitars or which way the capacitor flips or whatever, or whether tube amps are better than whatever, or Les Pauls shouldn't be that expensive, or whatever you want to say it is, that then becomes part of their identity. And it comes more and less about the facts. The facts could change, and the facts do change. The quality of a Gibson in 2000, in 99 and 2000 is worse than it is now. But you'll still see in comments, Gibson quality control. Give me a freaking break, dude. That was like 6 years ago. You know how fast companies can move on that stuff? They got a new CEO since then. They've completely redone everything since then. I've been there. It's pretty cool. Fender is in a big change right now. They're going to go through some bumpy stuff. But 2-3 years from now, we're going to look at them, I think, because they're not going to fail. Fenders, they're not going to fail. They're too much of a pillar of the community. They're going to go through some stuff. They're going to lose some angry customers, some young folks who don't care about any of this stuff are going to keep playing guitar. It's going to keep going. And a couple of years from now, people are going to, Fender sucks. And they're going to be like, well, actually, no, it doesn't. It's actually pretty good. Harley Davidson through the AMF era sucked, but they don't now. So nobody says Harley Davidson sucks. Well, lots of people do. But you understand what I'm saying. Phases. Reality changes. If your belief systems do not change with reality, then you're the problem. Okay, that's the thing. That's the trick. Because at this point, you're not discussing the hobby anymore. You're just defending your belief system. It's like you are treating it as a religion that really has no basis. At least a lot of religious people attempt to base their beliefs on something, where when that thing changes, then what do you believe anymore? It makes no sense. Then you look like an idiot. And the crazy part about all this is the reality of it, how much a guitar costs to build, the various options there. I'm shopping for another guitar right now. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to spend about $3,000. Okay. And because I want some neat stuff. It's a lot of money. So I'm trying to decide what I want to buy. I was looking at some ESPs. I was actually looking at Artistides, because that non-wood thing was pretty neat. I was looking at some Kiesel. I was looking at some really interesting stuff. And I'm looking at them, I'm like, these guitars are totally worth $3,000. This Les Paul is totally worth $3,000. This Fender, that's, the top end thing, it's worth the money. Man, this stuff's really cool. And there's reasons why it's really cool when you look at it objectively and understand what goes into it. The effort that's put into a guitar, the design that's put into a guitar, where it sits in the market, all this kind of stuff, the intended audience, which is a big one. And I want to do one of these videos specifically about the intended audience of a product. That's a very important reality of marketing that people do not understand. The bottom line is if you think an Epiphone is too expensive, if you think a Gibson is too expensive, then you are a Firefly guy. That's an end of it. The Gibson can be as expensive as it wants, and you complaining about it does nothing. See what I mean? Like, it's going to keep going without you. The reality is going to keep going without you. So if you embrace things that are real and that are cool and put your belief system aside for just 1 second, you're going to find that the world's very interesting. Even if you can't afford some of the world, there's an acoustic guitar I want really bad. It's really expensive. It's like $12,000. I'll have one day probably, but right now it's not in the cards, So does that mean I start posting about how it shouldn't exist because I can't afford it? No. I allow it because it's real. It's there. There's a reason why it costs that much. I allow that reality. I make it part of mine. And now I think there's a cool thing, and I can tell you about this cool thing. Look at this cool thing. It's cool. It's super neat. My world is now interesting, more interesting, because I've added something to it instead of subtracted it because I don't want it as part of my reality. Just because you don't want something doesn't mean that it will not go on without you. Just because you don't want a Gibson to be $3,000 doesn't mean that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? And if you just allow it to be there, now there's another guitar that's cool, right? It's an interesting thing. Learning how pickups work makes guitars more interesting. Learning manufacturing makes guitars more interesting. Learning the business side of how a guitar is made makes it more interesting. Learning the design nuances of a guitar. The difference between a Strat and a Silver Sky is when you look at it, and play them side by side is significant. Now they look the same, but I'll give you that. But in practice, they are very different. And understanding that and allowing that, because it's a reality. So just allow yourself to understand that that's real. Makes it more interesting. You're like, oh, I actually like this little feature. I wonder if there's another guitar that has this little feature. Even if you don't like the Silver Sky, it exists. It's real. This guitar has this, and this guitar has this. Those two things are real, and they're not the same. Oh, well, I wonder if that, even though I don't like that guitar, I wonder if that little thing right there exists on a different guitar. You've now expanded your world. Instead of just, to something that you don't want to believe or have, or, it's weird. Learning why companies do various things. Even this Fender thing, understanding why they did it. Okay, I don't like the delivery. I think it's stupid. I think the entire thing's ridiculous. They should have gone about it a different way. I think they're on a bad path. I hope they correct this path. I don't want to see them fail. I don't want to see anybody fail. Except for people that copy, actually steal stuff. I don't like thieves. But I do want to see them succeed. Understanding why they're doing it helps me to have less anger about it. I still don't like it, but I'm not going to burn any strats in the street or anything. So the knowledge helped me to be more reasonable. You know what I mean? On that thing. The problem with this whole concept, though, is that people don't like their boats rocked. Most people just want to protect this comfortable space that they live in, and they don't want any of that. They would rather not discover something new. It's weird. There's a group. I'm not saying everybody. I'm saying there's a group of people like this. Most of us are here because we love this stuff. But learning is many times uncomfortable. Okay. Oh, maybe I don't know how a capacitor works. Maybe I don't know the effect that a finish has on an electric guitar. Maybe I was wrong about this. Maybe there's more to it, right? Maybe what I believe is partially true, but maybe there's more to it. That can be a little uncomfortable. And the internet, the comment section, does not. I say the comment section is separate from the internet because there's a lot of good knowledge on the internet, but the comment section in any forum, Reddit especially, Facebook is the worst. I think Facebook's worse than Reddit a lot of times. They reward tribalism. You pick a side, you defend your side, you never move. Tube versus digital, USA versus import, vintage versus modern. You never move, and you defend it. Everything becomes a team. But reality doesn't care about teams. Reality doesn't care what you believe, actually. Real is real. And real is usually a little of both sides, typically. And that's agreement in comment sections is not as exciting for comments. But fortunately, we have human psychology that will allow people to fight. And so these people will always exist. Enthusiasm about this stuff and learning is what makes us go and makes it fun and makes me keep doing it. Being wrong and learning. Testing. We always used to say when I was in the dirt bike business before I got hurt. And some of you who are mechanical engineers especially will know this. We have CAD and stuff, so we can minimize this a lot. But in the old days, you just blew stuff up. You picked up the pieces, you looked at it, and obviously you were wrong because the thing exploded, or you seized a piston, you seized an engine, or you did whatever. You overheated something, or you broke something. But you'd break it, and then you would look at the broken pieces and go, oh, well, that's where it failed. I need to make that improvement. failure was part of you, like pushing something to failure was part of improving that something. And that's how I feel. Like I enjoy that. Uh, if I have to do something 10 times to figure it out, but then know that I'm right about it, I will do that. I will invest that in myself and in the time. I really care about that. Like I want to put the work in. Um, I don't enjoy being wrong. Nobody enjoys being wrong, but I enjoy the process of blowing the thing up, finding the failure, learning the thing, engineering the change, implementing the change, seeing the improvement. That is very cool to me. And so even in this stuff, um, learning a new thing, me sharing it with you is super I love that. That's the funnest thing. Learning about a new product. When I review a product on the guitar on the channel, yeah, okay, say they send me one, like the Positive Grid Reactor, for example. I did not say I liked that amp because they sent it to me for free. I think it's neat. If I thought it was a piece of shit, I wouldn't have put it on the channel. Like I wouldn't have even told you about it. I get stuff sent to me, emailed to me. Hey, do you want to do this? Even the people I have good relationships with. The gal that I work with at Guitar Center, she sends me an email. Hey, are you interested in this, this, and this? And no, I don't want to do a review on that. I don't even like that thing. Okay, sounds good. I don't think it fits. I don't think it's a good product. Blah blah blah. So I try to narrow that stuff down. I want you to be enthusiastic about guitar. I want me to be enthusiastic about the guitar, and I never, ever, ever, ever want to lose that. I don't want to know everything ever. I don't think we can. I just don't think we can. I think there's just too much stuff. Every time I learn something interesting, I want to share it with you. Every time I see a new product, every time I buy a cool guitar, I want to share it with you. If you live in my town, shoot me a text, shoot me a message. If you want to come over and play it, I'll let you play it. I want to share it with you. And that is way more interesting and way more fun. Growing that community, being friends with all of you, than trying to be right all the time. Being right for the sake of being right, whether you believe is real, what you believe is real or not, is very temporary. It feels good for a moment, but learning something new, that'll stick with you for the rest of your life.